Log recording. 8:27 in the morning. Is still Saturday, the 25th, 2023. Yeah, it's getting close to the end of the month. And what do we got to contend with for the next couple of days? A couple more days? Well, me dealing with the damn bug ward is one thing. But me dealing with the depression, that's the other thing. Still doing the audio logs on this one. Much more easier for me to do the audio instead of the video right now, especially in the mood I'm feeling right now. The rain outside is really having a debilitating effect on me. I mean, I can talk about things of the past, how I used to deal with it. And compared to how much I'm trying to deal with it right now is a different story altogether. I mean, a long time ago, you're a kid, you don't like it, you hate it, you curse at it, or you jump around and have fun at a damn thing. Because clothing is wood, and you got to deal with that. And as an adult, you learn how to carry an umbrella half the time anyway outside and deal with it. Because you don't like to deal with it. That's why I like to. It's like staying indoors and watching all the damn thing, but I tell you, you're watching the news all the damn time, you're watching places getting flooded out, or let alone being in situations where it gets flooded out. There was one time when Ma was running her bookkeeping income tax business along Woodley, and Dave and I were doing the deliveries. There was a company dealing with light and holographic imagery. Holospectric, I think, or holospectrum or something like that. Right by the Van Nuys Airport industrial area. Dave and I had to drive through that damn thing in our Datsun B210. Light enough car, I'll tell you. Especially when you get into areas that makes the car float. You get into a street in the San Fernando Valley, and it had areas where there was flooding. There was pockets of water all around where a car could either go through it fine or you floated and drowned out the engine. Flooded out the carburetor. We had to wait and get that damn thing dried out a little bit so we could get it initialized. But we had somebody helping us out regarding, we just made a delivery to a client. And we got into an area close by the office to the company. And we started to float. We didn't have traction. The car couldn't start. Didn't sink either. Well, we did float. Someone actually helped us out into a driveway. We waited till it dried out a little bit so we can start up the engine and get the hell out of there. It always unnerved me that we can get in situations like that, and also in the San Fernando Valley. It always scared the hell out of me that there was a lot of areas prone to flooding, including the Sepulveda Basin. What they called the Sepulveda Basin at the time. It was basically flood control. There are certain areas around it, from Burbank to Victory, from White Oak to the 405 freeway. There's a big, huge swath. Big, huge parkland. But the parkland was the drainage. All the water would go into there, and if that ever flooded out, people were worried about other things happening. There have been other cars, other people trapped in the area because when they started shutting off the streets during those days, back in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and I don't know after that. But it was to contain the floodwaters when it was really, really starting to get jammed up in there. And people worried about the floodwaters going beyond the borders and flooding out the homes and businesses along the area. We had a 405 trying to contain some of it anyway. When they put it in the damn busway, another drainage. They had changed a lot in the area. Try to make it more compatible for buses to go through. It used to be a train route. Well, right underneath the 405 freeway, there was this tunnel. It used to be a train route. I don't know. It's changed a lot since I left. It was changing before I left. So it was kind of weird to see it. But it reminded me of the times when we had to worry about flooding in certain areas and whether or not we're actually going to be getting out of it or not. We had to get sandbags to protect ourselves. Even out here in Antelope Valley, there have been times when we had to get sandbags. Not out here in Roseman and not in apartments still, but still made me worry and wonder about sinkholes. And now I got to worry about water leakage through the substructure. Right in between spaces of the apartments themselves. In one particular complex, there was a upstairs apartment getting flooded. The water was laid on the flat roof of the complex, of the building itself. They're all flat roofs. Makes me worry about what's going to happen upstairs, because then it happens downstairs and then there's water damage and then mold and everything else growing. It's a scary thing to go through. It literally is. Not quite sure about how to deal with it, but no one dealt with it. And I guess I'm on the edge again. Can't change the weather. Nothing much more I can do, except probably count everything else as a loss in this place. Get the hell out of here if it's going to be calling for that time. But then again, I'll be doing all the damn reporting on my phone unless the damn thing breaks down, and I'm really screwed, aren't I? One way or another, I get screwed over. Things happen, don't they? But the rain still represents to me. Mama liked hearing about it. She just didn't like seeing all the results about it. I mean, she knew about the flooding in the valley. When we lived there, we kept on the news all the time. But she still loved the rain a bit. And it was hard for me, David, to get through that day of days, the 19th of February 2013. When Ma passed away, because it was on a rainy day such as this. Consistent light rain. Consistent light rain. As if there was a constant need for someone crying out their eyeballs. Either sad, joyful, or whatever. Maybe they were making a joyful noise up in heaven when Mama passed. Maybe the family was crying in relief, or maybe they were crying in mourn, or maybe they were just crying, period. Or maybe Mama was. It was something David and me would muse about. But during that day, it wasn't. That day was a miserable day. And every time we keep coming into a rainy season like this, I know that our water table is needed the most. But it still depresses the hell out of me because I am associated that day, Mama's death, with this, with the rain. Could be a few clouds in the sky. I'm like, okay, fine. It could be cloudy. I'm like, okay, fine. A little spattering, a little scattering. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll feel a little bit about it, but not much. This is getting to me. I enjoyed maybe about a few hours or a few minutes of snow. It still reminded me of a lot of other things that I dealt with. Memories, feelings, certain days of happiness, but people long gone, including other family members are long gone. I had pictures of them enjoying this weather, enjoying this kind of weather. That day a long time ago, I think it was about 2008, in March, and it was snowing, and it was Wednesday, and Dave and I were having fun in it, walking the dogs through it. David outside, freezing his ass off, having a smoke. The only place he could do, sit in a chair and just enjoy the cold out there. Complaining about how much his body was aching and because of the arthritis really setting in. His knees giving him shit, his back giving him shit. He says my back and my neck gives me shit. And my feet. And my hands. Along with my brothers. And we got thick enough outside, we'd scrape off the snow from the cars. Have ourselves an impromptu snow fight. Pack up the snowball tight. Then wham. I remember us driving through that damn mess. And how many people are trying to not trying to kill themselves. I almost did, anyway. Who could drive on icy streets without chains? And I drive real damn slow. Went to a meeting out in Palmdale and came back home slower and shit. Because we didn't want to get run over or killed or in any way capacity. We were trying to stay alive. Thinking about that. Thinking about those days. Almost every year it would get a little bit of rainy. The past decade and a half. Only once in a great while will we get cold enough or snow and sticking there for more than 24, 48, 72 hours. Oh boy, was that cold. That was something. It was something. And I miss it. My brother was born in Texas. He was not used to snowy weather, but he had been in snowy weather a little bit. Still didn't care for much, but he wasn't a surfer dude anyway. Opener out. That would be his. Heaven right there, being a truck driver. In his youth, he courted the Navy, he courted swimming. In his older life, he courted the open road. It didn't scare him. That didn't scare him as much. He tried to let nothing scare him. Me, I had to be the scary one. I had to be the one that was terrified. But I didn't constantly think about losing family until actually we were in the process of losing family. Mama was a long-term way. David was just quick. It kept making me wonder about my own. Should I be afraid of death or should I not be afraid of death? Should I be courting it or should I not be courting it? Should I be part of the process or not? And I already been part of the process, never even realized it. I haven't been evangelical, and I haven't been proselytizing either. But how to deal with it, how to deal with death, the fear of it, the fear of life, fear of everything else. But I had to go through things that I kept praying for strength on, encouraged to get through days, get through things that were important. And not quite sure how to deal with it. I was just imagining things going wrong, and I didn't. I can't take it for granted either. I'm looking outside where it's raining, getting harder and harder. Or possibly switching to white. Stand by. God, please tell me that you're throwing me a curveball or else you're going to be... Holy crap, you are throwing me a curveball. Snow alert! Gorgeous time, 8:45 in the morning. It is Saturday the 25th, 2023. We have a white. We have a snow alert. Roseland, California is having bird parties. Oh my God. Oh my God. It is throwing me a curveball today. it's melting off all over me right now.